Hello, my name is Reuben Fetchner. I'm a member of the Land Use and Development Advisory Committee. I and another member of our committee will describe to you the purpose of the committee and how we need your help shaping Horseshoe Bay's future. This is our agenda. We'll describe the purpose of the Land Use and Development Committee. We'll also give you some background on how we are going to participate in the city's comprehensive long-range plan, as well as a little bit of an update on the current land use. And finally, the last bullet you see on the agenda is where we're going to ask for your help, again, to help us shape the future of Horseshoe Bay. So what is a comprehensive plan? Well, as you can see in this diagram, the city is embarking upon a long-term view of all of the areas that you would expect the city to be proactive and planful around. And these are the areas that they will be focused on. Ours is just one of these dimensions. It's the actual usage of land. You can see that on the chart. Our responsibility is to provide the city your feedback and your input on how land should be used in the future so that they can build that into their comprehensive plan, which would give them insight into, for example, needs for utilities or traffic or other types of services. So we are a part of the contribution of the city's long-range plan. What are examples of future land use? These are some general categories to give you an idea of what types of land use might we have in our future. And we'll actually, as I'll mention later in the conversation, be providing you a survey to ask very specifically what types of land uses are you interested in, as well as what types of land uses are you not. I will call out one on the lower right-hand corner. Second column says town center. That will be one of the things we'll be discussing in our survey. And we have a description of that in the survey to see if that's something you would be interested in our future. The committee goals, basically this is an excerpt from the creation of our committee by the city, but fundamentally our responsibility is to gain your feedback, again, on what you believe our land should be used for inside the city, as well as our extraterritorial jurisdictions. And we'll describe what an extraterritorial jurisdiction is in just a moment. The primary goal, again, is to get your feedback, your contribution, and your insight. If we don't get your feedback, candidly, we failed. Once we've gained your feedback from the survey, as well as some interviewing of stakeholders within the community, both inside Horseshoe Bay, the city, and the ETJ, the extraterritorial jurisdictions, we will put together a report, and the survey will be posted on the city's website. These are the members of our committee. If you know some of these folks, please feel free to reach out and contact them if you would like additional information. If you have any feedback or input or questions, we're glad to engage with all of you. You can see that we do have a number of advisors. Several gentlemen that were on the long-range plan previously meet with us and give us counsel, and you can see we're working very closely with the city. They've all been great contributors to this conversation, as well as to the education of us on the committee.
Hello, this is Mark Knudsen. I want to talk to you and provide some information to you about cities and their extraterritorial jurisdiction. Back in 1987, the state legislature passed a policy that allowed cities to have an extended jurisdiction over territory beyond their city limits. And the purpose of this was to promote and protect the general health, safety, welfare of the persons residing in and adjacent to the municipalities. Now, Horseshoe Bay zoning and its ETJ, the city zoning is virtually all the land in the city limits of Horseshoe Bay is platted and zoned. The city has a planning and zoning committee that reviews applications, and the city council then approves zoning changes and developments. And I think that you would have to say that the Horseshoe Bay city government is aligned with the residents' desires. Now, what is an extraterritorial jurisdiction? For a city the size of Horseshoe Bay, this extends 1 mile beyond the city limits as long as it doesn't interfere with another city's city limits or their ETJ. This allows the city some control over the development and building in the ETJ. However, in 2023, Senate Bill 2038 allows land users to opt out of an ETJ, so the city loses any control. This was effective September 1st, 2023. Horseshoe Bay zoning, as you can see from here, throughout the city limits of Horseshoe Bay, different areas are zoned for different things. And I know you can't see all the different zoning, but the key is over here. So just to point out a few areas, this is 2147 going through the heart of the city. This is State Highway 71. We extend down to State Highway 71. Obviously, up in here is where the power plant is. We've got Oak Ridge. To the far west is the trails. And this is Horseshoe Bay West area. So hopefully you've got an idea of all the different parts of this. Horseshoe Bay water and sewer availability map is shown here. And again, you can't read all of this on this size of the map, but there are areas that have both water and sewer, water only, and areas that don't have water or sewer to them today. Overall, the city has about 70% of the lots served with sewer and about 95% with water, all within the city limits. Again, this is a map showing our surrounding cities and their ETJs. Right here you have Highway 281, and along here you have Highway 71. So you're all familiar with what's happening at the interchange of 71 and 281 with the development going on there with Thunder Rock, with Gregg Ranch, and other planned developments. This is Round Mountain down here. Its ETJ is smaller because of its city size, and it extends out 962 and up and down Highway 281. And you can see right in this area here, Horseshoe Bay, Marble Falls, and Round Mountain all kind of come together. Now again, what we're concerned about is Horseshoe Bay. The city limits basically are in here, and this area from along 71 and to the south primarily, all the way over to near Baylor Scott White Hospital, then to the north is within the ETJ of Horseshoe Bay. So we are currently able to have agreements on what that development's going to look like into the future. As you can see, up to the north, we've got Granite Shoals, and then the large part of Marble Falls over here. Again, here is a map of the city of Horseshoe Bay, city limits, and the ETJ. Again, this being the city, and this being our ETJ, this area here. This is the trails. So west of the trails, basically along 311 over there, there is an area that is within our ETJ, generally smaller acreages that people own over there. Right in here is the Bronco Ranch. And then this area from about 962 along here, all the way over to nearly Baylor Scott and White Hospital, or the Phoenix Center sits right in there. And then up north of Highway 71 to extend around. And the color combination on this is that the blue represents areas or parcels of land that the city of Horseshoe Bay has development agreements with the landowner. It doesn't have to be the current landowner. It could have been executed in the past. And what that development agreement says is that the landowner can use that property for its current use with the addition of a house or a residence, but anything beyond that allows the city to look into acquiring or incorporating that land into the city. The red areas, like up in here and here and here, this is Outlook right over here. These areas do not have development agreements. So a landowner has the ability to develop that land the way they want to. The city has some rights over what they can have that person do, but they could opt out under the current legislature and say they didn't want to be part of Horseshoe Bay. Now, granted, that causes them to have to get their utilities from somewhere else, and they may not want to do that. But this is the area that we're most concerned about in our growth for Horseshoe Bay is along Highway 71. As you've all seen, the development continues to come this way. So what we're looking at is what do we really want to look like in 10 years, 20 years, 30 years from now? We all know that Austin area growth is headed this way. We see it every time we drive into Austin. We're expecting Sweetwater type developments. We've got the US 281 Highway 71 intersection that's developing. And the real challenge is our ETJ corridor along State Highway 71, how we protect what Horseshoe Bay looks like into the future. It also requires us to work with adjacent municipalities as they grow and as they desire to bring new developments or growth. I've heard that the city of Marble Falls definitely wants to grow and to develop. And some people have said it looks like it wants to be the next bee cave. Now, water and utilities are going to be key to what is realistic for our future. Water, as we know, is a very important resource, and it has a lot of limitations as we've been in this drought. So we can either plan for control and growth, or we can do nothing and see what others want. So which do you want? I would suggest you get involved. We can plan and control and have Horseshoe Bay look like it is today. These are all pictures that I took within the city of Horseshoe Bay, and I think it's a place we all love to see and enjoy the way it is. Or we can live with what is coming. These are all pictures from Marble Falls. Well, thank you very much, and I hope that you will get involved and support our committee as we move forward.
Thank you, Mark, for that update on what extraterritorial jurisdictions are today and what they have been in the history of legislation. Thank you, too, for the update on the land use and what's occurring around us in terms of what we'd like to plan and control versus what, if not planned and controlled, could be something we would not desire to have occur. What we've been doing as a committee to engage the community is to work with the mayor and her monthly messaging, sending the emails. You've seen some of the Beacon articles, hopefully. Ideally, we did have a presentation to all of the POA presidents to share this very same content and ask for their additional support and engagement. We have held 55 interviews with people within the ETJ and the city to get their view on what should or should not be developed, what's needed in Horseshoe Bay, what are the critical risks or issue areas for Horseshoe Bay, and that actually was helpful to help us shape the survey that we will be sending all of you. We've been working to get the survey information to you, again, through the emails from the mayor, the Beacon article. Most of you should have received a utility stuffer in your water bill explaining a little bit about what we're doing. You'll also have in that stuffer in the future a QR code where you can actually take yourself to the city's website to take the survey itself. We're asking the POA presidents to send each of you in your POAs messaging regarding the survey and where you can take it. Again, encouraging you to participate with helping us to create the future by your feedback and your engagement. As I mentioned earlier, when we complete the survey, we'll put that on the city website for everybody's review, and we'll provide that to the city council so they understand the citizens' perspective on what land should be used for and what they prefer that it not be used for. If you have any additional communication or engagement that you can help us with, please feel free to reach us at that landuse@horseshoebay-texas.gov, and we'd be glad to meet with you, discuss with you, follow up on your feedback. Again, our primary desire is that you have felt the need and the engagement to participate with us in giving us your view on what's going to occur on the city. What you don't see here, and I'll also share, is we will have a town hall on the 18th of September at 3 o'clock. But I highly encourage you, if you hear this before that time, come meet with us. If not, please just follow up with that land use at Horseshoe Bay email for any kind of follow-up questions or ideas that you may have. Thanks again for taking your time to go through this with us.